All right, so joining me now is Destiny Denny. She's an assistant special agent in charge with the North Carolina SBI who had a significant hand in this 1968 cold case. Destiny, welcome to our program.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, give us some information about the SBI's involvement in this cold case. Wow, after 57 years, solved by a piece of hair with DNA. I mean, I've never even heard of this type of technology before.
Yeah, so it's definitely groundbreaking technology that the past really few years, we've started to see a significant rise of utilizing hair on unidentified remains cases that's actually rootless. So obviously, if there's a root attached, we can send that off for DNA. But now we're talking about degraded samples or samples that are even just centimeters of hair are being sent off for DNA analysis. So our role in that is we actually have a mirror grant where we utilize that for missing and unidentified human remains cases, and as well as this one. So this is the perfect example of it, where we take a case where a body has never been identified, even this many years. We try to start with teeth. That's normally the easiest thing, or bone. Whenever that doesn't work out, then we move on to hair. And in this case, Astrea Forensics is who we utilized for the DNA extraction of the hair.
I think what astonishes us so much about this case is the fact that the hair, one, wasn't coming from the root. Obviously, you're going to be able to get more DNA from that. But two, how well preserved it was for being almost 6 decades old. I mean, you've got to go into this having hope, but with this one, where you like, I just don't know if this is going to fly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just a testament to how amazing um, the forethought was even then of this could be important later on. In the evidence packaging and just DNA wasn't even on the map back then, right? So for them to know, hey, this needs to be packaged in a certain way and preserved and maintained, to even have that to test, first of all, is incredible from that many years ago. So I just commend them for that. And yeah, just like you said, um, having that hair there to be able to test it is incredible, especially with something like a burned body. The hope is very minuscule, right? Whenever you're talking about someone who has been burned, what what's the possibility that it's been degraded to the point that you can't use it?
At the end of the day, you guys get a match, and the closure for this family, right? That's got to be really instrumental. And you take that home with you, right? Talk about that to be able to have sort of an ending to something that happened well before you and I were born, but the family has just been waiting with agony for 60 years nearly.
I personally cannot imagine the weight of that. You sympathize with them as much as you can, but you can't empathize because you don't know what they've gone through. And it's just incredible to see the weight lifted off of these families, to know that their family member is finally back to them, because for all these years they've wondered where they are, right? They're just a missing person. So we have a massive backlog in North Carolina and across the country of unidentified human remains, and all of these families are just sitting and wondering where their family member is. And like this case, you're talking decades. So it just, you absolutely take it home. And whenever you get to bring that news to a family, it's a feeling that you cannot put into words. Um, the feeling of relief that they have of knowing where their family member is, even though in this case you're talking about a homicide, it's still the relief of knowing what happened in some sort of closure for them.
So, the SBI is involved in so many cold cases. And, obviously they don't, you guys are working on so many at once. So I have to ask, why isn't this technology used more often? And why aren't more people trained? Do you think it just comes down to it's expensive to do?
It is so expensive to do. Um, Thankfully, in the past few years, we have had access to the Muir grant, and we're going to continue to apply for that as long as it's available. But honestly, it just comes down to money. The resources right now, I only know of Astrea Labs doing this technology, utilizing this technology. So you're down to one lab utilizing rootless hair technology to identify these people. And then you have your backlog. So, you know, all of your states are going with their oldest unidentified remains first to kind of dig through this backlog. And you start with teeth and then you go with bone. Whenever that doesn't work out, then you do hair. So it's just a really, really long process and very expensive.
For people that are listening to this, I think it's a true testament to not give up and not give up hope. What would you say to that?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Technology is always changing. We are always, I think we're growing more aware of the significant backlog and the new technology that we can use for these cases. And we have a sense of urgency now of, okay, we have access to this. Let's move on these cases as quickly as possible and try to bring closure to everyone, right? Everyone's waiting, and I call it waiting in hope because they are. They're waiting in hope that one day their day will come, their phone call will come, and someone will say, "I found your family member." And I just want to encourage them and let them know that we work every single day to make sure that we're bringing that closure to them, no matter how long it has been that they've been waiting in hope.